Let me know when you guys are set.
Welcome everyone to the Canonbullcast. That's not my line.
Where we talk bull and we talk canon. Here go CanonBull. Hey, pretty clever, right? I came up with that. Just want to let that be known.
He
It's also
did. He
not
did.
either or. It can be both. We are canon enthusiasts.
We are bull enthusiasts. That sounds strange, but yeah.
Pause.
Welcome back, guys, to the Cannonball podcast. I'm your host, Saint George.
I should have
I'm
changed my
here
username to
with.
El Matador, but you know what?
Just let him do the intro.
Oh,
I'm just saying, bro. Like y'all remember El Matador, the Super Strikers?
man, he was peak, bro. He was peak. I ain't gonna lie.
So to the three viewers who didn't click away, St. George will continue with the intro now.
Welcome back to the Cannonball podcast. I am your host, Saint George, and today I am here with Kentucky's last brain cell and Mono, aka the One. How are you guys doing today?
Been better. Definitely been better, but I'm feeling jiggy.
All right, we got a jiggy nigga in the building.
Um, I don't know how to say this. Warning for those under the age of 18, but I'm eating nuts and I'm drinking water. I'm good. I'm just chilling.
All
Just
right,
hope you don't
healthy
bust those
choices.
nuts before eating them.
Nah, it's nothing
Pause,
raisin.
bro.
Also, he can
What?
use nuts, but the moment I talk about nuts, pause. Alright, it's fine.
You said bust. You like nobody was busting nuts until you said something.
You also just said busted nuts now. Pause.
Ah, he kind of got you, bro. He kind of got you.
But as you can see by the title, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about James Gunn's DCU Slate, which dropped in the middle of this week. Was a big day
DOA.
for Twitter. Some think it was DOA. Some think that James Gunn cooked. But we're gonna look at the slate and we're gonna break it down, give our theories and thoughts, and we're gonna talk about it like we always do at Cannonball. If you find yourself enjoying the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And other stuff that are put out there. We're very versatile. Just saying.
Also, just want to plug my GoFundMe. I'm not really disabled or anything, but I do like free money. So if you guys want to, feel free.
Yeah, please, guys. You
Link
know.
in the description down below.
But right, so James Gunn, he really kept people on edge with the slate for uh, weeks. He told people that he was going to release the slate towards the end of January, and January 28th rolled around, 29th. People were getting nervous. People were shaking, people were crying, and then eventually on
Man saying
January
people, just say
31st.
you, bro. It's fine.
Nah, nah, nah. I wasn't shaking. Now I'm
Stop the
saying I
cap.
was just like I just had my eyes, peeled, like in case anything happens.
Yeah,
Um,
the
uh,
jitters. I can imagine it right now, bro. George is just sitting in the room somewhere and his hands are just shaking. They just
My man,
shaking.
my man's is quaking in his boots.
I'm quaking in my baby seal leather boots.
Oh, Mega Mind reference.
But so he announced the slate, and the first movie on his slate is the one he talked about a while back that he was working on, but now it has a title and a release date. This is Superman Legacy, which is coming out July 11th of 2025. And James had this to say about the movie. He said it focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks of kindness as old fashioned. So, James, this is a story about Superman in his younger days. He is going to cost someone around 25 years old, and yeah, he's in the thick of it. He says he's working on it. But what are your guys' thoughts on his description and just the idea of a new Superman coming to theaters?
I will go last.
Oh, how much to dissect. One of the things I just want to point out now, I hope our audience does not think I'm being nitpicky when I bring up some things here. I will try and explain to the best of my ability. But before I let Kintoki go, I just want to point out Gunn's choice of words in a lot of the slate is very strange.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're supposed to take what he says entirely literally or if we're supposed to interpret it in a different way as just like an example to give we talk about him balancing like his Kryptonian heritage with his human heritage. Like what exactly are we supposed to take away from that? It feels like he's saying something but not really committing to it. And it could be interpreted in any way, like literally in any way, that him balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human heritage. Like I could probably just come out and say, oh, he probably has a house where one of his dads is Kryptonian and the other dad is human, right? And that's the household he lives in. And I that's a perfectly valid interpretation based on what he's saying.
Right, right.
So
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely the whole description of him balancing his human and Kryptonian heritage, it did make me raise one eyebrow. But what do you think about it, Kintoki?
I would also just like to start by saying, unlike my compatriots over here, I very much run on an agenda. So expect that, get used to it. Um, Look, I'm not going to be somewhat pretentious here and act like I'm a Superman enthusiast, but I do enjoy the character's ideals. Or at the very
Mm-hmm.
least, I do enjoy what his ideals are supposed to be. Um, as we've seen, those ideals normally get mudded in most of the movies we've watched, save for
Snyder.
Richard Donner's run. Gonna ignore that. But uh, in any
I
case,
sense
I
beef.
I want to say, on the one hand, I did enjoy the promise that James Gunn has given us, but I still, like most people, have Snyder PTSD. So I don't know. I don't want to take what he says at face value. I'd rather just patiently wait. But James Gunn has a history of being pretty out there with what he says. So he'll tell you one thing and then give you the most outlandish version of what he said,
Wow.
which makes him not a liar, but very much untrustworthy.
Misleading.
Kevin
Exactly.
Feige moment.
He's gonna get the hats. Wait till he gets the hats. Once he starts wearing the hats, we need to ring the alarms. I That's when it gets a
Um,
bit weird. But yeah,
yeah, so I just want to quickly get into something here,
right.
right? For those who are listening, you might not know, we actually did like a test recording of this very video and we talked about a couple of points. One of them being that he stands for truth, justice, and the American way. Once again, it could be nitpicky to break that down, but it's just what does the American way mean in the
Mm,
present, especially
Word,
considering he follows that up with he is kind in a world where they think that's old fashioned. So
word.
if the world doesn't even agree on what kindness is, in that it is old fashioned or it's not, how can they agree on what the American way is, and how can he therefore stand for it? It's it kind of makes me a bit, I don't know, not very optimistic as to what the story could turn out to be,
Yeah.
especially as a first movie.
A
You
lot
know.
of people on Twitter were very um apprehensive about how he worded that because everyone on Twitter is adamant about, listen, it's truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, not the American way. That's something that I saw someone said, actually it was a radio advert back in the day that said that just to like use Superman as propaganda for, I think, the war or something. But it's
That
actually
also could
supposed to
be.
be a better tomorrow, and that's why he is the man of tomorrow. So if we probably change that phrasing, that he's the man of tomorrow, he fights for a better tomorrow, maybe people will be more at ease with how he was going for it. But the wording choice, like Mono said, yeah, a lot of the word choices Gunn uses for his slate projects, it's like, I mean, dog, I don't know if I can trust you, you know?
Or sometimes it just sounds like he's trying to, I don't know, like get a reaction out of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
It will come up later on as to something else that he mentions. And it's like, I feel that was purely just so that people could talk about it and have a reaction rather than actually him trying to inform you of anything new. But yeah, I think perhaps in defense of Gunn, maybe he didn't say truth, justice, and a better tomorrow because he immediately follows up with he's kind in a world that thinks it's old fashioned. So it would be kind of strange to say he's the man of tomorrow, but he's old fashioned. Maybe that
Uh-huh.
was the reason he was just kind of big braining it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got that white
yeah.
hair going. That's big brain hair. So, yeah, Superman Legacy. releases in theaters on July 11th, 2025. I will be seated, of course, and I'll check that out. But next on the slate, James Gunn announced the very anticipated sequel, The Batman Part 2, which releases in the same year, 2025, but on October the 3rd. Matt Reeves returns to direct, and he returns with his co-writer who helped him with the first film. Matt Reeves retweeted the announcement saying "Epic Crime Saga," which teases how the Penguin is going to become the Kingpin, and it's going to be another epic saga of just a bunch of crimes happening, I guess. But people were excited about the tweet. I don't know exactly what it means, but hey, it got people hyped. So yeah, the Batman Part 2, but it was a very small announcement, not much details on it, and it was essentially glossed over. But the next announcement on the slate, which has more meat in the bone for us to chew on, is again heading back to Krypton. We got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is going to be based on Tom King's book or run from 2021 to 2022. So James had this to say about Woman of Tomorrow. So it says, next is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is based on Tom King's wonderful comics from last year. Tom has been one of the architects of this entire situation. He has been one of the guys in the room with us, along with 4 or 5 other writers. And I love his take on these characters, where he just slightly turns them to be something very unique. Within our story, we have Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by incredibly loving parents and nurtured, whereas Kara, that drifted away from the she was in Krypton and she was on a piece of Krypton that drifted away from the planet and lived there for the first 14 years of her life among a horrible situation where she watched everybody around her die. So she's much harsher and more effed up, as a character than what Clark is or what we used to seeing when it comes to Supergirl. So, James here giving the fans essentially what they want. Some fans, they heard
I was
about,
about to say now, who are these fans
you
that
know,
wanted this?
they heard about Supergirl being in the Flash movie, so they got excited. And when they heard that she might not return, I mean, hearing that she's coming back now in this new DCU was very uplifting for a lot of them. And the fact that it's based on one of the modern books, a lot of people's interests were piqued. But what do you guys think about this? Because like I look at this and I'm like, this guy really he's taking a lot of his favorite, like, and you'll see a pattern of it where James takes his favorite runs and decide I'm going to make something out of this. But wait, guys, I'm gonna do this that you guys like, so you guys don't trip too much. But what do you guys thought about
Excessive
this?
pandering. I would just like to take this moment to quote the great. What is his name, by the way? Is it Stephen A. Smith? I'm gonna
Ah,
tell you right
yes.
now, we don't care.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry,
We don't care.
We don't care. Look, I
Yeah.
would just like to say I'm not a Supergirl hater. I appreciate the character for what she is. My issue is most of these writers, directors, especially the comic book writers, they don't write her for what she is, but rather for what they think she can be. And what she can be can never be because Clark already exists. So that's my piece right there.
Um,
Short and sweet.
man. So I think we can all just start with the thing that George just said, right? In that it seems as though what Gunn is doing here is he's using what fans like as a vehicle to deliver us what he. It seems as though Gunn is really trying to use what the fans like and or want as a vehicle to deliver us what he really wants and or likes. By coating it in, this is a really great run of Supergirl, and he really loves it. It seems as though he's trying to appeal to that comic book reader inside some of the fans who are like, oh, I also like comic book runs. He likes a run, so this must be a really good run if he who reads comics and I who reads comics can now relate over comic books, and he then delivers one of the things that he likes. You as a comic book reader would probably be like, yeah, he must have some credit to what he's saying because he likes comics and I love comics, right? And I feel like, be that as it may, it kind of comes across as a bit, do I want to say manipulative? right? Like he seems as though he's trying to take advantage of that. Um,
Mm.
whereas I don't know if that should be the reason why everyone goes to read, I mean, rather watch the Supergirl movie. I think it should be more by the merit of what the movie is going to do and how it presents itself, rather than Gunn saying, "Oh, guys, I like it," because then some Gunn fans are going to be like, "Yeah, if Gunn likes it, I should like it," as some Snyder fans tend to do. So I think I won't commit to anything right now as to talking about Supergirl, because as Kintoki said, we don't care.
Bro.
But yeah, I think until they present us with something that would make us really want to go and watch this movie, and until they present us with some sort of uh, tangible evidence that this is something that we haven't seen before or something that we won't be getting from another character like Clark, I don't think we should really get our hopes up about it just yet.
They should pull like Kevin Feige, James Gunn should pull like Kevin Feige and be like, "This is gonna be a story of Supergirl that's never been seen before on film." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah, oh my god, yeah," and they buy into it.
And then it's just a Supergirl story.
Yeah, but it's never been done in film. But like, it's a Supergirl story.
Well,
The one that
technically,
was
it
never
hasn't
been
been done in
adapted.
live action.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unless you want to count
Um,
that one weird 5 year running CW show.
you did that on purpose. You just want to mention it.
I
But
didn't
like,
do nothing.
let's address the elephant in the Krypton. Um, I kind of feel like we need to acknowledge that when God is talking about fans of Supergirl, he should most likely be referring to them, and this is not a
Precisely.
Supergirl that they would want.
Yeah, yeah. They're not gonna want a very grizzly, warrior, rough around the edges, cynical Supergirl.
Well, we would need to
Who
see, right? Because the way the gun is phrasing it, it might not even be exactly like it appears in the comics. It might just be that she was on a planet and watched people die, and then that made her messed up, and that's it. If she might not
Well,
even be like on some warrior team.
it's based on the Tom King run that it's being sold out. All the books like that that's based on the Superman movie, not based, but like the book he read while he was writing the Superman film that he teased on his Twitter is sold out, and the Supergirl book that he based the Supergirl movie on is sold out. I'll probably also get it just to read and see what
Well,
he
well,
might be
well.
cooking, because I like to take one for the team. So yeah, I'll definitely do that.
It's
But
almost
moving
as
down
if it's almost as if Gunn is trying to use this to manipulate his audience.
and to get his friend Tom King some W's.
The
But
saddest
like
part
even
is
then,
we've been down this road before with Snyder, where he came out and was like, guys, Batman vs. Superman's coming out, and it's based off of, wait for it, the Dark Knight comic run.
Returns.
Yep, and everyone ate that up, and then we got the movie, and
Frank Miller's
disappointment.
bank account. Ka-ching, 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 ching, ching, ka-ching.
Precisely. And I feel like Gunn's doing the same thing. That's why I'm saying I have heavy PTSD with a lot of the stuff I'm hearing from him. Not to say he's a
Yeah.
Snyder, but the way he
I don't
phrases
say he's
and
a
promises
Snyder. I
things.
always say
He kind
that
of likes
he
the
has
guy.
immaculate form in riding the Snyder meat. Nobody compares to his form.
Yo, so man, yo, like,
You
I ain't
know
gonna
what?
lie,
Fair
you kind
enough.
of, yo, fair enough, man, fair enough. But like, so moving on the slate, Batman fans stay eating. We got a project called The Brave and the Bold, which is based on Grant Morrison's run on Batman and Robin. This is gonna be a movie about Damian Wayne and his dad Batman. It's gonna be a very weird father and son story. This is what Jason Gunn. This is what James Gunn had to say about this project. He says this is the introduction of the DCU's Batman. It's not Robert Pattinson. It is not Ben Affleck. We working, with Robert on the Batman 2 anyway, and in dealing with that with Matt Reeves. I'm working with Ben Affleck, who really wants to be, or he mentions how Ben Affleck wants to direct, so he's doing his own thing there. And then we have, but this is the story of Damian Wayne, who is Batman's actual son, who we didn't know existed for the first 8 to 10 years of his life. He was raised as a little murderer and an assassin. He's a little son of a bitch. He's my favorite Robin, based on the Grant Morrison comic books run, which is one of my favorite Batman runs. And we are putting that all together right now. It's going to feature other members of the extended Bat family, just because we feel like they've been left out of the Batman stories in theater for far too long. Now, guys, viewers, my people, again, we have this thing of him, it's my favorite comic book. This is my favorite Robin.
No, no,
But
no, no.
hey, we're
Let's call
giving
it
you the
what it
Bat
is.
family.
Let's call it
The-
what it is. He's got a hard on for this kid, and he's putting him in a movie. That's it.
oh my god. You
You
had to
read the
go
I wouldn't put
there.
description.
it past
You
him.
read the description. Nothing about I enjoy Damon Wayne's character arc. Nothing about I enjoy how much he grows as a character and makes Bruce grow. You know, the obvious
Does he,
stuff.
bro?
It's
Or any of his interactions, perhaps.
yeah, none of that. No, it's just he's a little son of a bitch, and I like him.
Yeah, so
Um,
he
I
has
want to
this.
get into the meat and potatoes of this real quick. I want to ask you guys, right?
I listen.
I'm
Because one of
lactose
the
intolerant.
trends you might start to notice, as George has mentioned, one of the trends seems to be I like it, therefore we will do it, which is not in of itself a problem, right? But it seems that he always follows up with some sort of justification after that, as if him liking it shouldn't be enough, right? As for him to say, "Oh, I like this run of this comic book, so I'll base it the movie off of this run of the comic book." And
Mm-mm.
I also think that we can add something new to this thing, right? It's a new take on the character, or it's a more effed up version of the character, or the Bat family has been left out, and that's why we will add them instead of just we adding the Bat family. Right? Why does he seem like he keeps justifying every action with something else beyond I just like it? Whereas both explanations are essentially the same thing. Like, oh, I like this run of Batman's comic book with his son, and I like his son. We don't know what he means by I like my Batman's son, but we will get to that in future. And then he mentions, oh, and I like the Bat family, and I feel like they're being left out. It's like these are essentially the same arguments. I like it. I want to do it. That sounded
Ye-
sus.
Yeah, I
I
was about
don't.
to say right now, like
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, no. So it's just I feel like it's just a bit odd, right? I hope that he has the same level of passion he claims that he has for these things, and the people he employs will share that same sentiment. But
Right.
it again, a lot of the things that he's saying does feel a bit concerning with how he chooses to phrase it, and again, the whole thing of I like it, so I'm going to add it, or I like it, so we're making it like this, and then goes on to explain, oh, it's a new take on something, because even that, it feels as though he's equating a good story with a new story. Then, oh, this is a new take on Supergirl, so it must be good. This is a new take on the Bat Family, which I'm sure he's going to do because he's the same guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy, um, which is just a new take on Guardians. So I
right.
feel as though that this seems to be the common theme between Gunn's actions. New must be good, and if I like it, then it's even better.
It's even better, it's this pandering thing of like it's like he's trying to ease people's worries about the past DCU, but at the same
So
time he's also trying to do what he likes and what makes him comfortable. Because he did take a picture of this book and post it on Twitter, and people were like, "Is he maybe gonna base the Batman off this run? If he does, then the Damon Wayne slander is gonna be up the wazoo." And he is basing his Batman on this Grant Morrison run, but Bat Family's in there some spice for the Twitter fans, just so they don't get too upset. I'm not a fan of the Bat Family. I'm a even lesser fan of Damian Wayne, but it's Batman content, so yeah, whatever. Guess I'll check it
speaking
out.
of Damian Wayne slander, as a Damian Wayne fan myself, we don't exist. There's no such thing as a Damian Wayne fan. Stop lying.
There's no
Stop the
such thing.
cap.
Like, come on, you
Yeah,
know.
in
Uh,
truth, all of them are just Dick Grayson haters, really.
That might just be true.
that's actually true because they all put him above Dick Grayson in a Robin ranking on Twitter. They always put him above Dick Grayson.
The
Either
cult
either
thinkers,
that,
right?
or if it's a Damian Wayne fan on Twitter, they will put Dick Grayson like either dead last or like second last on the list. I don't know why.
And just like Damian Wayne, they all know that Dick is superior.
Pause.
Uh,
Um,
Um. Uh. Okay.
I
I
know
actually
the
wanted to
Tim
ask
Drake
you guys.
fans
This is
did
just
not
out
just
of
down with
curiosity.
applause.
We might get into trouble for this one with any sort of Bat Family fan. But I kind of get this impression sometimes that Damian Wayne might just be a better executed Jason Todd in Jason Todd's earlier days in the comics. Right? I
Mm,
kind of feel like he's a
I'm
slightly better executed
I'm
version.
not joining this conversation. I fear the Jason fans, bro. I'm
No,
Hey,
not
hey,
listen.
here.
No, listen. I'll tell you this now. Like Jason Todd fans, they can get cooked very easily based on the fact that, bro, Jason Todd is supposed to be like the failure. So, you know, come on. I really gonna
he's
defend this
supposed to be
guy.
a failure. Stop ripping this man.
Yeah, you
Uh,
really gonna
I
defend
would
this
like
guy.
at this moment to say that I have nothing against Jason Todd as a character. I really appreciate my life
Really,
and
really,
therefore will
really,
be silent throughout this entire conversation. Thank you.
really.
Bruh.
Not to say that Damian Wayne is like a great Robin, right? I personally have beef with all the Robins, and I refuse to comment on why.
Mr. Mono, tell us, please. Tell us.
I think we can all just agree that Tim is definitely the worst.
What did you say?
I didn't stutter.
Take that back, bro.
Hey, now
Take
look.
that back.
Hey, now look. I'm
Take
just
that
saying,
back.
bro. If man's entire claim to fame is I'm the smart one, hey, I'm just.
It's
But
not that he's just the smart one. Guys,
mhm,
come on,
He's
man.
also
yeah.
sometimes biracial in live action adaptations. That is true.
He's smart and he can use a bow staff and use it to
Oh
protect
wow, as
things.
if there wasn't
Oh wait,
another
I
Robin
forgot
who
he uses a
uses a
bow
bow
staff. You know
staff.
what? You've changed my mind. Actually, I think
Could have
he's better than
sworn there
Jason
was
Todd.
I hate
another
it here.
Robin
I
that
hate
uses
it
a bow
here.
staff.
I hate it here. I hate it here. This is not a
But hey,
safe
hey,
space.
hey,
I'm just
hey,
saying, my
George,
Robin doesn't use a bow staff. He uses a
hey,
katana like a
George,
real
I'm
one.
just saying, he did break into Batman's car, right? So you still have that.
That's Jason.
That's Jason.
Was that
Bruh.
Jason? See, I can never confuse these.
Give me your fan credit card now. Give
Yeah,
it to
bro.
me.
No, I'm
Fake
just
fan.
saying. Of course, I'm a fake fan. I never sit and say, you know what? I want to read a Tim Drake comic. Oh, wait, there aren't any.
Yeah,
Nah,
nah,
bro. Remember
moving
the one where
on,
he was
bruh.
kissing that other
Nah,
guy?
moving on.
He
Moving
was
on.
kissing that other guy in the one. There is one.
Enough violation. That is enough violation of my baby boy.
Yeah,
That's
stop
enough.
the Robin hate, guys.
Right, so
I
next
don't
on the
even know if we can
slate.
consider Tim an actual Robin. But moving on.
Whoa! Nah, you know what? I'm not gonna dwell on this.
Who's
I'm not
more of
gonna
a
dwell on
Robin?
this.
The female Robin or Tim?
Orphan is more of a Robin than Finn. I am
I
sorry.
will kick you in the nuts, boy.
I mean, Orphan does
Anywho,
kind of got that Robin form when they jumping through the air and stuff, you know.
right?
Strong candidate.
If and at least she's like the first in something, right? She's like one of the first woman, female bat prodigies.
Wrong.
Tim is
Not
just last place
true.
everything.
Man, people just don't see the vision with him. But you know, he's the underdog. It's pretty cool to be the underdog, you know. So we'll move on from that. The next movie on James Gunn's slate. This was a TV show back in 2017, but it failed. 2016, 17, 18 failed. A Swamp Thing horror movie, right? It's the last
Oh,
movie of the chapter. By the way, the first chapter of the DCU is called Gods and Monsters. This is chapter one. And what he says about the film is the final film we want to talk about is Swamp Thing. We bring it up because it's important to point out that these stories, although interconnected, they're not all tonally the same. So each set of filmmakers brings their own aesthetic to these films, and the fun is seeing how these totally different works mash up in the future. So, this is a film that will investigate the dark origins of Swamp Thing. James Mangold, the director of Logan, is in talks to direct Swamp Thing. Some sources say he's already been chosen. They just haven't announced it yet, but he might be the one taking the wheels on Swamp Thing. I'm not a big Swamp Thing fan. He's not very cool to use in Injustice, in my opinion. Um, yeah,
It
I
was
yeah.
that your standard by which he's not cool?
No,
no,
it's not.
no. In the game, though, right? Like, in the game, though, he is.
Bruh.
No, just for the sake
don't
of
don't give them
of
ammo.
our
Don't
listeners,
give them ammo.
I'm just saying, for the sake of our listeners, I just wanted to be sure that that was not, the main reason.
I just wonder how is he gonna make a. I'm prepared to be amazed. Okay, like how they're gonna make a story about something and all that stuff. Who's gonna be the bad guy? Is it gonna be the Floronic man? Like what's gonna happen here? Obviously, the love interest will be his that white haired girl that is lab assistant or something. But yeah, not much I want to comment on this. What about you guys?
Honestly,
Uh,
I just want to hear him talk about the green, and I'll be happy. I have no real.
The
you know
green
what?
Jesse.
You
We gotta
spit him,
save the green
bro. I
Jesse.
can't wait until
Yeah.
he says I am Groot. Oh man.
I wouldn't put it past Gunn to actually just Grootify Swamp Thing.
We are Swamp Thing.
Also, all Harlequin fans, please close your ears. Give me Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy, and I'm good.
Hey,
You know what? A match made on Earth.
cooking. This guy is cooking.
Thank you.
Gene is cooking, bro. It really is. But moving on from what I believe is, not very interesting. But this is definitely a very James centric project, right? This is a TV show, animated
Let
TV
me,
show, but it's
let me
still
guess. It's
set in the
related to
DCU.
Suicide Squad somehow.
In a way, it's like a Suicide Squad type team.
Peacemaker.
They called the Creature Commandos. Um,
Oh,
they
okay.
appeared in Batman Brave and the Bold, the cartoon. They like this group of like a zombie, a vampire, Frankenstein. These Halloweeny creatures. It was a project in World War II in the DC Comics that used these creatures as like soldiers, sort of like a Suicide Squad,
Now,
essentially.
our audience, I am not Googling this at this right moment. And I hope that you will never accuse me of such a thing. I am a real fan of Batman.
So James had this to say about the Creature Commandos. So he says, so the first TV series that we're doing, and I've written the entire series, is Creature Commandos. This is an animated series. This is actually the art from the animation company that's doing it. I'll put the art on screen for you guys to see. Creature Commandos is based on the great team from DC. And what we're doing with the DCU is we are having animation tied directly into live action television, movies, and games all intertwined within the same universe. We're going to cast actors that are going to be able to play the characters in this, as well as in the other things, some of which we've already, cast. I've written all 7 episodes of the show, and it's all in production right now. So that's the first thing that we're doing, and I love it. Right? So then Safran had this to say about James Gunn's writing. He praised it and he said, I'm staggered at the caliber of scripts that James is working on. He says, we'll see how everything else comes, but the screenplays are amazing. Uh, and yeah, he says, should the series come to fruition and prove to be a hit among audiences, we could see a lot more of the Creature Commandos in future. Um, so yeah, I wonder what tone this is gonna have. I won't be surprised if it's on a raunchy adult type thing. I don't know. I hope he makes it a bit more story driven, cinematic because it's set in the DCU. But what do you guys have to say about Creature Commandos?
We all know it's just going to be the Suicide Squad slash Guardians, but rated R and more gory.
Oh hell yeah,
Like we can
definitely
all just
gore.
agree to that right now.
Definitely gore.
As a
Uh,
die-hard fan of the Creature Commandos,
this Owen has
I
been scanning, bruh.
I hope they adapt. Wait, give me a second. Weird War Tales, Volume
Yo,
One,
wait.
Number 117, which was published on November 1982. That growing up, I really enjoyed reading this one. Because I was poor, so I could only afford one comic book, and this was the one I took off the shelf. So it means a lot to me if they adapt this particular run,
Really,
which
nigga?
is Creature Commandos Weird War Tales, Volume 1, number 117, published November 1982.
Oh my gosh, man. Look, guys, this is just another one of James Gunn's obscure characters that he identified with and liked, and he wants to bring them to the big screen. I'm sure he tells himself, you know what? I'll make it work. I'll make it work. Don't worry, I'll make it work. We'll fit them inside. We'll make them work. And then, like, Peter is probably like, James, are you sure? Like, these characters are very obscure. I don't know how they fit into the logic. No, no, we'll make it work. We'll make it work, Peter. And so he's gonna make it work somehow. But he did say, I'll get to it. Let me not spoil it, but I'll get to it and how this could tie into um the larger DCU once we get to like the theories um of what could be happening in this first
Actually,
chapter.
that brings up
Throughout
something I
the
would love to
multiverse.
ask to
Go ahead.
our fellow compatriots here. What do you guys think about what had been mentioned by Gunn, if I'm not misremembering, in that the universe will be connected? He seemed to really use that to push his pitch of this universe, this DC universe, that it is all
It's
going to be
connected.
connected. What do you guys think of that? Because I've heard some arguments be made that if it's all connected, if one thing sucks as the whole structure, it might all suffer because of it, similarly to the MCU. That once the movies or series get a bit weaker, the overall perception on the MCU also gets weaker. Whereas at least with the Snyderverse, you had your highs and your lows, but no one ever really said the entire universe sucks.
Yeah.
So what is your thoughts on this connectivity? Is it good? Does it maybe raise your expectations a bit?
Please put the answers to that question in the comments down below.
The question's for you guys. I don't care about the fans.
But also, I'd just like
Oh,
to say,
oh.
no Snyder slander will be accepted in these comment sections. I will fight you.
Turn it into a battlefield, please.
Like go
Slander him.
300. Go 300 on in the comment section, bro. This is Sparta.
This is
Um
canon.
but
This is
on
bull.
what you said, Mano, I think it's the thing of he looked James is very active on Twitter, very active with the fans, and he saw the mess that was left behind, by Snyder and Jeff Johns and everyone.
That's strong language you're
And
using there. The mess he left. Wow. Sounds like you're not a
uh
fan of Snyder, bro.
I am not. I am not. Um
Couldn't be me.
and
Zack Snyder's Justice League was peak cinema, bro. What
Wrong.
is wrong with you?
Yep. Scorsese even
and
said that. I was with him at the cinema.
oh, you met Scorsese, bro.
Yeah,
That's so
bro.
cool, man. Yo,
He
bro.
was like, "Oh,
I,
it's
I
about
want
hope,
to.
Alfred," and I was like, "Yeah, bro, that was a nice scene."
They were probably chatting it up about their favorite runs in the Creature Commandos.
Yep,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, Weird War Tales Volume 5, definitely.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think it's him trying to again put the fans at ease by saying, "Hey guys, I know you guys were upset about how it wasn't very connected before, but hey, we're gonna connect everything, even through our games and our animated TV shows. How about that, huh? How about that? It's all connected." And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, connectivity, cohesiveness. This is what we want." But in reality, what we actually want, and most people, I guess, don't really know this. It's just good stories. I think if they were just good stories, things
Just
would be a lot
competent
better.
stories. I think good
Yeah.
stories is too high a bar. We just want
Damn.
competent stories.
Yeah, just competent stories. And I think that would even beat the connectivity, because even at a certain point, I was like, yo, maybe the Snyderverse would just try and make decent films and forget the connectivity. You guys will be redeemed somehow. But they still weren't making decent stories. So it's like, reboot this thing, man. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah.
Creature Commandos. Woo! I'm looking forward to that one.
What
Yeah.
about you, Keen? What do you think about James's language of emphasizing that everything is connected through everything that they're working on, all the media?
From an idealist point of view, I do love it, not gonna lie. But from a practical point of view, I am very much against it, in all honesty. Just because of like the limitations it may or may not set on certain projects. Like,
Definitely.
for example, if a movie decides to kill off a certain character and then they want to make a game, and now it's like, what do we do? But then again, that's like small minor issues, right? It's just, again, you also need to keep in mind fan investments, because if the MCU is anything to go by, there is a boatload of people who didn't really care too much about the TV shows. They were just movie enthusiasts, and that's it. And a couple of them you can see, especially when they talk about the Phase 4 movies, are just out of the loop.
Yeah, true.
So that
Yeah.
is, of course, it's not, I guess, on the director to cater to everyone, but at the same time, I do think some sort of segregation is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's why I asked, right? Because I felt that there is some credibility to some people who feel that if something flops within the grander universe, others have to suffer from that repercussion in that domino effect, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
some people might not be aware of that domino effect even taking place, just like how Gintoki mentioned, right? Some of the MCU fans, they maybe didn't watch Loki, so they wouldn't understand its connection to Ant-Man Quantum Mania, right? They might not
yes.
know that there's a connection there. Some of them might know. Some of them might not even care enough to go and watch Loki. And that's their own thing, right? Like they're very
Mm.
much welcome to consume the media however which they please. But I do kind of shiver at the prospect that, as Gintoki even mentioned, that if there is a connectivity that is here, how significant will that connectivity be? If a character, hypothetically, let's just say, oh, between the movie of Batman Brave and the Bold and a game of Batman, in between the movie and the game, we find that Jason Todd becomes Red Hood after being tortured by the Joker. And then the next movie that follows after these two projects just has him be Red Hood. Like, is that going to be a thing that happens where I now need to go play the game or watch a playthrough of the game to find out, oh, that's how Jason Todd became Red Hood? Okay. And then watch the movie or what? Like, how significant will that connectivity be? Is genuinely a concern of mine.
That also is something I thought of when he said it's gonna be connected through games. It got me thinking, am I gonna have to play a game for me to understand how chapter one ends or connects? Like that would be
Yeah.
sort of inconvenient, especially if this game maybe becomes a exclusive on some console. Or maybe I just can't get it, And it's like, do I have now I have to play this game? Now I have to watch this. But oh, maybe if it's connected to comics, I have to read this comic, and it's like, that could be a little bit uh inconvenient to say the least.
Yeah. And also, like, I don't think you should feel forced to do any of that, right? Like, that's a bad thing. And I'm hoping that they understand that James Gunn and Warner Bros. Would understand that most people don't want to go through that many hoops.
Yes.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Cannonbull Podcast. That's not my
You
job.
can't do
That's
the
not my
intro.
job.
This
That's
isn't a
not my
different
job.
This is
video.
a
This is the same
continuation. I'm
video.
gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this.
Hi guys. This guy here, his name is Colonel Senpai. Colonel Senpai, say hi to the audience.
No, screw
Right.
y'all. Y'all making me do a lot of work.
That's Colonel Senpai. He will be joining us for the remainder of this recording. Shut up, Colonel. Shut up.
No, you.
Governor Shrooms is talking. I am your boss. Anyways,
I mean, he's a
he
governor,
will
so
be joining us for the
yeah.
remainder of the recording. I hope you enjoy his insights. It's going to be great. It's going to be a wild time.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Cannonbull Podcast.
No, don't
No,
stop.
bro.
Bro, what?
This is not a bad episode.
Uh,
Alright, fine. Fine. I just want my moment to shine.
All right, so next on the slate, guys, we were laughing about the creature commandos, but like next on the slate, we have a prequel TV show called Paradise Lost. So this series is planned to be an origin story for the legendary Paradise Island, aka Themyscira. The series will be set before the birth of Wonder Woman. So this is what Gunn and Safran had to say about the show. They said it's a Game of Thrones type story. It involves all the darkness and drama and political intrigue behind the society of only women. And then Gunn added that it's the origin of them, and they'll be exploring their mythology. And he says, "Are we going to be exploring how did the society of women come about? What does it mean? What are their politics like? What are their rules? Who's in charge? What are the games that they play with each other to get to the top?" Which it's kind of weird to me because that they don't play games with each other. There's a clear queen and warriors, and they sisters. There's a sisterhood. Like they don't do any. Oh, the parliament
Pretty
is
sure he was
corrupt. You know
talking
what I'm
about a
That
saying?
sounds like a
different kind of
snowfest. Anyone
play.
else think
So
this
like,
is a
I
snowfest?
guess
That
for
sounds
me,
boring.
I
He's
just
talking
want
about
to
it like
know
they're
who
alien
asked for
species. Like,
this.
oh,
Bruh.
what would women do in a society as if they're not human beings? Right? Women would just make a society as it is right now. It's not going to be different.
Yeah, I just want to know who asked for this kind of thing because I mean, this gives me Gotham vibes. Like
yeah, That
You
was
know
my
what
question
people were
too.
saying? You know what the best thing about Batman is?
Gotham
I want to
City.
see Batman, but not Batman. I want to see him before he became Batman. You know what? Let me just find any child actor there. Let them grow up. Let them grow up to become Bruce. I mean, be Bruce Wayne, become the Batman. Show us none of the Batman. That's exactly what people love about the Batman. None of it. Not showing Batman at all. Mwah. It was
Could it be that James is trying to do this to make his own, like to rewire the Amazon's mythology in his own way, so that when Wonder Woman gets introduced, he can continue doing his own thing, or maybe draw from the comics he enjoys because he hasn't read any Wonder Woman yet.
Which brings me to an interesting question I would like to ask you guys. Actually, um, if you're taking into consideration the way that James Gunn has been operating in the MCU, just as like the baseline here, do you guys perhaps think that he's actually doing a lot of the things that he is doing, as to like further what George is saying here, right? Maybe he's doing what he's doing because it's obscure, right? Then you wouldn't have as strong expectations about it, right? Like nobody has any real thoughts on Themyscira, right? Like it's just a place where the Amazons are. We don't have like any real attachments to it. So if he changes anything, not many people will feel as
Mm.
strongly. Like they might be like, oh, I don't really appreciate that, but they wouldn't complain about it. They wouldn't be outraged from fans. Like maybe that's the purpose behind a lot of this. It's like, oh, I'm gonna explore Batman's relationship with Damian Wayne instead, right? Because like everyone has perspectives on how Bruce should be behaving around some of his other kids or colleagues. Or we're gonna see Supergirl grow up in an environment where everyone around her is dying
Right.
because everyone already has thoughts on what Supergirl should be like if she were to just get to Earth late. You know, it seems as though a lot of these things are to, oh, I'm gonna do Booster Gold because Booster Gold, everybody loves Booster Gold, right, guys? Don't you
Bruh.
know, everybody, we just can't stop
Yeah, more
talking
than
about
one
how
comic where
great
he
Booster Gold
boosted.
is. He was
he's
gold, man. He was like
the
it's
gold.
golden time, and then he
He's
golded
like
all
the
over the
greatest hero we
enemies,
never heard of,
man.
you know?
Who?
Yeah,
Oh,
don't you remember
definitely.
that time where he said that like the entire universe, Batman was like, "Yo, I respect you for that." Then immediately forgot later. Oh, wait, I think that actually did happen. Never
Really,
mind. This was
nigga?
supposed to be a mocking, but
That did act
Stop
Booster
happen.
talking,
Gold, he
bro.
actually does have some good
Just stop
moments there.
talking. Oh, Booster Gold has good
Yeah.
moments.
Bruh.
Everyone has good moments, bro. Come on,
Let's
Joker
not
has good
bullying,
moments.
guys.
Term Drake
This is
doesn't.
not an achievement.
Term Drake doesn't.
Okay. Dang. Okay, look. Except for Tim Drake, everybody has good moments.
Yo, why are you coming with the term Drake so soon?
I I I
Gotta
I
stay
don't
consistent
know.
with the
I
agenda,
don't
you
know
know?
what to say. I'll let this one slide like I do all the others. I'm not a conflict person.
Just like Tim Drake, you have nothing to offer. It is okay.
Says the guy whose agenda is
That's harsh. He has
6,000
something to
feet in
offer.
the grave, and
He,
I'm getting a Batman sequel. You need to watch how you talk, boy.
Yo, whoa. Bad flick will be happen, guys. Trust it will.
I was about to say
Just
now.
The
watch.
I was
cope
about to
is
say, I
too
don't know what
Warner
strong.
this
Bros.
man is
Executives
on, man.
will
The cope
realize
is too strong.
the bad flick agenda is gonna happen. Trust,
The
nah, it's
Batflick
gonna happen,
agenda,
guys. It's
nigga,
gonna
we're
happen.
getting Bat Family. My boy
Hey,
Tim
man,
Drake is
it's
gonna
cool.
show up
It's
one way
cool. You
or
can
another.
enjoy.
So you know what I'm saying? I stay winning.
No one cares about that stalker. Leave him alone. Let
I
him
all
sit
have
in
I'm
the
saying
I
gulag.
got
is,
Matt Reeves Batman
all
Literally,
I'm
and
no
saying
one
Superman.
cares
is,
about
all
Tim
of
Drake.
this pales in comparison to the Creature Commandos. We are all looking forward to that one, obviously, right?
I mean,
No,
so
I don't want to do extra homework for this MCU or like this extended DCEU. No, uh,
so
I don't
you
feel like
guys
doing extra
mentioned
homework.
Booster Gold, which is funny because the next TV show that they announced is a Booster Gold TV show. And so James Gunn says about this, he's a total fan favorite, as you guys know. So he says he's a loser from the
Yeah,
future.
we all fans of
Only,
Booster Gold, guys. All of
Yeah,
us.
you
Yes,
know,
we are
he's
all
a
yeah,
Booster
loser.
I
same,
Gold
boost
same,
in
same.
gold
fans.
all the time, bro.
He's a loser from the 21st century, from the future. Sorry, the future, who uses his basic future technology to come back. Basic future technology, which is it's a weird phrase to say in a sentence, to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. So Gunn elaborated on the series, revealing how the two have plans to make a more complex character study based around a hero who is normally seen as a punchline throughout DC. Peacemaker intensifies. Furthermore, he teased that they may have already found their booster gold. Then he says, I think of it basically as a story of a superhero's imposter syndrome. How did he deal with that? How does he try to use his future tech to be loved by people of today? What is really at the base of that? And it's just a character study that's going to be a very different type of show. We are talking to an actor about this right now. I think that's going to happen. And I think this actor might be Chris Pratt, just saying.
MCU Star Lord.
Yeah, yeah. I think it might be Chris Pratt.
Uh, I don't know why, but I'm just picturing
It's
Booster Gold as Zachary Levi. I know he's already playing Shazam, but I'm just picturing Zachary Levi
We
as
all know
Booster
it's
Gold for
going
He's
to
some
not
be
blonde.
Zac
reason.
Efron.
we know it's gonna be Timothy Chalamet, guys. Come on.
You know, that might actually work.
What if it's James Gunn himself?
James Gunn
It might be
himself
James Gunn
playing as
himself.
Booster Gold
Yeah,
because James
imposter
Gunn feels
syndrome,
like he's got
imposter
imposter syndrome.
syndrome, trying to make
That is hilarious.
exactly trying to make people like
That is
him.
hilarious. But
Yeah,
at this, at like,
We don't like you, James, but we don't know anything
as
about
I
you.
mentioned
Come on the
before, like
podcast.
the
Let's talk,
Supergirl
bro.
comics and the Batman comics all being sold out because this are the books that they're basing the DCU on. One of the runs on Booster Gold is also getting sold out heavily on the DC Comics, like the comic store online. People are just buying it out, trying to like read on this.
Oh man, all of us are such
They're
Booster
just
Gold
trying to read on
fans.
it. Um, I don't know how this is gonna fit in the whole larger plot of the DCU, but I mean it's Booster Gold. They're gonna have fun with him. They probably want to have fun with this guy anyway. Um, Next TV show on the docket is a TV show called Waller, which is based on Amanda Waller. He says this is Viola Davis. She's coming back as a character, Amanda Waller. This is also going to have some of the team Peacemaker in it from the show Peacemaker. This is basically a follow up to the show Peacemaker. He says we have two great creatives working on it. Crystal Henry, who is a writer on Watchmen, the more modern one. I think that came out 2019. And then he says, and Jamie
Pain,
the
Carver, who
series.
created Doom Patrol, uh, have this. He
pain.
said they have this
Oh,
incredibly marvelous story worked out that I think is really fantastic and HBO loves. And so they're putting this all together. The series will be set between Peacemaker season 1 and season 2.
so this is an excuse to
Yeah,
put
I
in
thought he was gonna
his
give us a
version
segment,
of
but
Suicide Squad into the canon, right? That's what he's doing.
Yes,
oh yeah,
Okay,
totally.
You
because
see, with
I'm just
the
glad we're all on the same
with the
I
page.
thought he was
series
gonna write
Waller,
the.
with Waller now, I think that's mainly gonna be like damage control, because out of every iteration of Waller so far that we've seen in this DCEU, she has been nothing but incompetent and
Bruh.
as well. I mean, not just incompetent, but also like just like not Waller. If you guys know what I mean, like
No,
I mean, just
she's
look at
very strategic. You just don't
Mhm.
have literacy. That's
I,
the
I
thing,
I I
bro.
get you.
Viewer comprehension is down. She's a
yeah,
genius.
yeah, and like at the end of like the Suicide Squad, I'm pretty sure lady got her ass whooped. Okay, wow, that just came out wrong. She got the ass kicked by her own like members of the team.
so Colonel's misogyny aside, we are all excited for
Yep.
Well,
woman Nick Fury.
well, don't
What's
get
the
me
next show
wrong.
on the
I
slate?
respect Viola
The
Davis. I
next
think she
show
can,
on our slate
Yo, wait.
is
Are we
a
break? Don't declare me,
Lanterns.
guys. No,
You are being
no.
ignored.
The next show on the slate is a Lanterns TV show. I think it's the working title is Lanterns, but it's based on the Green Lanterns. Uh, this is taken from.
Now, just to confirm, is this the same lanterns that was teased at the end of Crisis?
You see, the thing is, right, there was going to be an HBO Max TV show based on different Green Lanterns in different time periods. There are two people cast already. The Lanterns they were going to focus on was
Yes.
Alan Scott, Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz. And it was going to be a big budget TV show. Greg Berlanti was executive producer. They were going to get this done for the Snyderverse, but with James Gunn coming into power, it was reworked to fit in his DCU and sort of also set up his larger universe.
Wait,
You'll know more about this as I continue with what he says about the
did you
show.
say Greg
Um,
Berlanti?
he's like, yeah, the guy that also created Flash.
CW's Kevin
Yeah.
Feige.
So he's saying it is more of a true
Okay.
detective type mystery with our two lanterns, the two lanterns being John and Hal, Jordan. A terrestrial based mystery, he says. And then it goes on to say, it leads into the overall story that we're telling throughout the different movies and television shows. And we find this ancient horror on Earth, or the Lanterns find this ancient horror on Earth. And these guys are basically, he says, the super cops on their precinct, which is Earth. He says the story is going to weave back and forth between the films and television shows. Peacemaker is a good example of how that works, and that's what we're going to do with the big overarching story that we're telling. So I think this show is going to be quite big in terms of what is going on in this first chapter. Gods and monsters. I don't know what this ancient horror is. Probably connects to, I don't know, the creature commandos and what they were. I don't know, man. I don't know where they come
Let me
from
just
or
say,
something. But
I hate
yeah,
lantern stories that take place on Earth, and that's all I'm gonna comment about this.
word.
Why?
Okay.
No, I'm done. I'm done, bro. That's my only comment. I hate lantern stories on Earth.
I.
They space cops. Why aren't they in space? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess.
So does nobody have anything to say about this? Damn, it really is DOA.
Bruh.
No, no. I mean,
Who cares about the lanterns,
So
bro? The lanterns are trash.
I am cautiously optimist, mainly because it's not being written by the
no, just
CW.
say you like the lanterns.
Oh no, I don't. I don't care for them.
It's Greg Berlanti, my G. It's the same guy that was a part of the Green Lantern movie and also the
Oh, I thought it
Arrowverse.
was Taika
So
Waititi.
it's gonna be
Oh
peak.
no, it
This is
wasn't.
what you're
Acting.
saying. Peak content.
What?
Okay.
Remember how everyone keeps saying Green Lantern, the movie with Ryan Reynolds, is peak.
Ryan
Yep,
Reynolds.
peak, bro. Best movie ever.
Yeah, they keep trying to bring it back and
It's
connect it to canon, so it's gotta be good.
no, because it's like HBO Max. I'm like cautiously optimistic that it might work, but they just
It's the
It,
hope that
it
kills
is.
you, honestly. It's the hope that kills you.
um,
Yeah. He says it's gonna
okay.
be James says it's gonna be a big budget event project, so they're gonna pump a lot into it. But quality can be good, but hey, story, and how it works and how it's executed. But
I was about to say now.
the loss.
Every Snyderverse movie was big budget.
Oh yeah, bro, the visuals for Justice League was great, but hey, um,
Nah,
so the
release the
last project we
Snyderverse
have,
or Spectre.
which it's a big superhero team, talking on Justice League also. It's The
Uh-huh.
Authority, a film based on the team The Authority, right? So
Oh, we love the authority.
this is what James had to say about The Authority. He says, so this is one of my real passion projects. I've been working really
Which
hard
is
on it
your
with the
passion
Red
writers.
projects?
flag.
We're starting to put together the entire story. This is a big movie. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Authority Wildstorm characters. We're not, James.
Nah, bro, we all familiar, bro.
Wildstorm.
We know him.
Now,
We know the
I would like to
authority.
take
Yeah,
this
yeah.
moment. I would like to take this moment that I enjoy every single piece of the publication since volume 1 of May
Bruh.
Exactly.
1999,
You
written
need to
by
Google.
Warren Ellis and
You
Brian
need to
Hitch.
Google.
Nah, bro, this is just our fans,
I
bro.
feel like you
Like we're
just
just
googled
fans,
that.
man. Like they stop doing that, man. I remember, bro. I was sitting in class in high school,
Yeah, you
and
know.
Kintoki like rocked up to me and he was like, "Hey, bro, you want to check out this thing called the Authority?" And I'm like, "The Authority? What is that? Right? It's like a cop thing." And he was like, "Nah, bro, check it out." And I was
Yeah,
like, "Man, I fell in love with it the moment I saw it."
exactly. Especially the Miller and Quietly run that replaced the Ellis and Hitch run from issue 12.
Wow,
That was peak
Oh,
wow,
content.
that's
wow.
actually really
Really,
good
I'm
to know.
gonna
I,
I'm gonna
I
pick it
didn't.
up just based on your recommendation,
Really.
Dean. Like really.
Yes, you should,
Oh,
honestly.
wow, bro.
Hmm.
Also,
Because, and this is my opinion,
yeah,
I am
yeah.
not reading anything right. They faced multiple foes, such as a mad scientist and his army of superhumans who
Wow.
influenced the 21st century through Jenny Sparks' successor, Jenny Quantum. It was such a beautiful story. Worth a read.
And the
Well, you see, the
authority
thing that really
is also
appeals to
being
me
sold
about
out
them
on the
the
DC Comics
most,
app.
right? The thing that appeals to me the most, it kind of just gave off that vibe of the X-Men, but like not like what you would get from the X-Men. Like, it was distinct enough, that you could fall in love with this more easily,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it had
exactly.
authority.
Well, when I just like their base, called the carrier, damn, that just That's a dope ass base
And I
name.
mean, like, they just told the real stories. That was the great
Right?
part. They just told the real stories.
So James continues to say, I only have 7 days in the week, all of which are used in service of DC storytelling. I'm working all the time. I can only do what I can. So we're going to have to make a decision at some point whether or not I it's better for me to direct or write or any of that, right? And he says, he's gonna do what best serves DC at the end of the day, but focusing more on Superman or putting a little bit of an egg in each basket, or is it something else? They're still figuring that out. But speaking back on the authority, he says they think the ends justify
Why
the
is this man
means,
capping?
and they're the ones that decide what the right ends are. He says the authority is a very different kind of superhero story. They're basically good
Yeah.
intentions, but they think that the world is completely broken, and the only way to fix it is to take things into their own hands. Whether that means killing
Literally every
people,
superhero
destroying
story
heads
in
of state,
existence.
using government,
Literally every superhero story.
whatever they want to do to make the world better. And we'll see how that journey goes for them. But I said earlier, James says this: there's morally gray characters, which they are. They're morally gray. Um, I can't help but think that the Authority and Superman they're gonna clash somehow, and he's gonna sort of adapt Superman versus the Elite, but put the Authority in the Elite's place. I can't. Or
Let's
they
just be
might be the
honest,
reason why
guys.
there's
He's
nothing
gonna
in
make the
December.
boys. Let's just be honest. He's just gonna make the boys. That's all.
Bruh.
Oh my god.
Wait, but then wouldn't you make it like the boys? To make sure it's different,
Yeah,
guys. It's
yeah.
totally
Just
different.
so they can, be
No, no, it's
distinct.
going
Ah!
to definitely be the boys because I would I would just like to say, as a long-standing fan of the Authority, again, there was a scene where the colonel was about to perform a sexual
The
act
colonel.
on Jenny Sparks' severely decomposed corpse.
What?
So, very much
Man,
the
I must have
boys
missed
type
that.
of
I,
style.
I I
I
remember
can
them
see why he
referencing
likes the
her quite
Authority.
often, like she's like the key figure of the whole authorities, bro. I remember them referencing her a lot. Damn, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so after her death, she was abused in a
That's
sexual
crazy,
way.
man. It's like that's what I mean, right? The
So
authorities
I
tells
can
real
see
stories.
where
So profound. Um, I need to get this book, man. It's peak fiction. Wow.
And I mean, like Midnighter,
The Authority. Oof.
bro. Midnighter, Kino, that guy. I bet he could beat Batman in a fight.
Oh, bruh.
I second that statement.
Is it even a question of if he can? He will.
True, true.
But jokes
It's
aside,
just about how.
what do you guys think about this first chapter? That was a lost project for Gods and Monsters. I don't know if he's gonna announce more if this is it for the first chapter, but like so far, what do you guys think?
It's too
I
early to say anything,
mean,
bro.
I'm just excited to see
Ooh,
Grifter. That's all. I just want to see a Grifter, man. Like, ooh,
me
Grifter. Damn,
too.
look at
Okay,
those
so
Me
guys.
everyone in this group
too.
is being
Me
nice.
too, actually.
Everyone's being nice. I would like to be the honest one and say we are severely underwhelmed.
Bro, severely
DOA.
underwhelmed, bro. I'm not underwhelmed, bro. I'm whelmed.
Severely. Absolutely nothing from the slate
Bro, it doesn't
has
even
me
sound
moving.
interesting to me. I'm hoping, right? Gunn has the type of thing that he can do, right? Nobody really cared about the Guardians of the Galaxy. He made them interesting. People thought Suicide Squad was gonna just like go down the drain. He made things interesting. I hope he's just gonna keep that same energy, bro. Because honestly, I'm looking at all of
The
this.
Suicide
That's what I'm
Squad.
Shut
trying to
up.
believe too.
Ooh, bro, that's a different movie. You don't want to confuse the audience.
I
Really,
think,
nigga?
Yeah,
We know
like
which
the
Suicide Squad we're
Batman is
talking
not
about.
the same.
yeah, Batman and the
Yeah,
Batman, very different movies. True. My bad.
exactly. Like, yo, we gotta be specific here.
Exactly. It's like nobody watched The Batman.
But yeah, no,
I mean, I'm just
I
gonna,
think I don't want to
I'm just
say it's
gonna,
DOA,
yeah.
right? It's too early to say anything about DOA. DOA. I think that's just people being hyperbolic. But at the same time, I don't know how many people are going to go and watch these movies, right? People who are going to watch it are people who's going to be morbidly curious, right? Or people who's going to be like, I like James Gunn and uh, I'm going to go watch. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
many
totally
others are
can
going to
choke his
just go
last brain
watch,
cell
bro.
right there.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can
but I
see
hope no one tries to
probably the
do that
Mm-mm.
stuff.
You heard it here first.
probably the only
I'm pirating every
things
Nah,
single
bro, don't
movie.
do that to
going out to
Creature
see is
Commandos.
Superman and the Batman Part Two. Yeah, probably only just want to go out to see. Brave and the Bold, I'll probably need to see more of that. I don't know, like more details. Because that might just be Son of Batman, like the animated cartoon. We might just
Yeah.
get some of that, but like
And
movie vibe.
like when he's talking about the Bat family, he literally means how they appear in
Limitless.
Son of Batman. Where it's just like they just Damien is doing this, I'm gonna go beat him up, and that's it.
Yeah, what do you mean Nightwing fight? Like,
Yeah.
oh, he's a little asshole. Oh, I hate Davian. It's like, man,
What do you mean him and Nightwing fight? Nightwing ends up fighting him because every time when they actually fight Damien, Damien gets rocked. No one is fighting that man. They just
you
see him
mean
as
the
a flailing
scene
child.
where they left the cape over his head and they just like clapping his head in? That was
I'm
evil.
just saying, like every time Damon gets into an actual fight with one of the core the OG the Robins, I
Yeah,
mean the Robins who came before him, he gets rocked. I'm not sure about them. He might be a loser, but Damon might
Really,
actually
nigga?
kick his
I'm
ass.
gonna
But
hit you. God damn, leave them alone.
Don't will get no respect in
but
these
when it comes
streets.
to like,
Yeah, even Jason, like, it's a comic where Jason like rocks his shit. I ain't gonna lie, like they hurt him.
eh,
Thank you for this free ammunition. Um,
Bro, Tim is not that type of guy to just fight like out of nowhere. I like he's not that bad family member, you
Nah,
know.
he's gotta on site
yeah,
everyone,
he's just a
man.
stalker.
yes, that's been the point I've been trying to tell you. He's not a bad family member.
We're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this up.
Uh
We're gonna wrap this up. Um, yeah. So that's the slate. That is chapter one, Gods and Monsters. It's quite underwhelming in a
Looking
way.
forward to Swamp Thing,
Um,
guys. Tell us in the comments.
let us
Yeah.
know, like, what do you guys think down below? Was James Gunn cooking, or is his slate a bit underwhelming? Do you need to see more? Do you want to wait and see? Because I'm on the wait and see list. With a lot of these projects.
And spam the comments with release the Snyderverse.
No.
Don't do that.
No,
Don't do that.
please. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Just spam the
And
comments
also
with
the
your
Patrick
thoughts.
agenda. It will
I
happen,
don't like
guys.
it
The
here.
Batfleck
Trust.
agenda is
I don't
dead.
like it here.
It's not.
Martha, 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 Martha. Stop me. Stop me. I'm saying the name.
Why did you say that name? Peak
Exactly.
content, right?
Martha.
Before we
Man.
leave,
No, that is peak
I would
content. You just
like to
don't get it.
point out, right? Devils do not come from the ground. They come from the sky.
Hmm, hmm. Oh, yes. Very wise words. Wise
Say
words.
that.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg, he said that.
But I don't know what Zach was
Yeah.
doing in Batman v Superman, but I really appreciate his
I don't
cameos.
know, bro. Like he's so different though. Like I didn't know he started a tech company and they like have kryptonite going on there. And it's like, bro, Mark is moving up in the world
Bro,
for real.
he was different in that film, man. Like that skin mask he was wearing really convinced me he wasn't a reptile underneath, bro. I was like, eh, he good.
Bro. For real. But yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks for watching. If you reached this point of the video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy. And this is Cannonbull signing out. You guys stay safe out there.
Oh,
Love one another. Always do you and always look good doing it.
don't like and subscribe. We don't want you here,
I'm
guys.
cutting
Shut
this
up,
part
Donald.
out. I'm
Shut up,
cutting this
Donald.
part out.
No.
I'm the editor here.